think F1 is understood to be a particularly challenging sport. We've seen the kind of driving they do, and the fact that they're under a lot of G-forces, they get very hot. There's a huge competitive aspect to it. So the main challenges they face in terms of human factors is the fact that they have a complex steering wheel and lots of settings to change throughout their races. So current F1 steering wheels generally have between 25 to 30 different controls on them, and they're actually multi-layered as well, so changing one setting can change the functionality of other controls on the wheel. So the issue is when they have to make a change to a setting on the vehicle, if they're driving flat out at the time, it means that they may be slightly distracted and they can make a mistake on the track, or they can make a mistake with their interface. By optimizing the steering wheel in terms of usability, it means that the drivers are less likely to make mistakes. It reduces the amount of distraction that will be caused. I guess sometimes spectators like to see some drama on track. So in some ways this will actually impact that as in terms of removing some of the accidents, ideally. Because by optimizing these interfaces and the drivers being less distracted, they'll make less mistakes, they're less likely to go off track, less likely to hit another car, less likely to put their car into an engine mode it shouldn't be in. It's very difficult to actually come up with a statistic without any experiments having been carried out. But there are lots of examples where even minor interface issues have caused incidents. The famous one being in 2016 in Barcelona, when it was simply a switch being in the wrong place caused two cars to exit the race. So even a very small user interface issue can have a large effect. It's very difficult to say, mainly because we only see what we see on television. Some of that footage would show drivers making errors, but we wouldn't get to see it, and the teams probably wouldn't want to share issues like that occurring with the general public. But the fact that we see actually quite a few of them, and there are still fundamental issues that we can see, like the team talking to the drivers whilst they're concentrating. This keeps coming up. It's suggestive that this does actually happen quite often. Ideally, I think these interfaces need to change in terms of their complexity. The drivers are still having issues. The driving of the cars isn't going to change. It's always going to be very, very challenging. That's the nature of Formula One. So I think in terms of interfaces, we may look at new things like HUDs, head-up displays, for example. That's a possibility, something being projected inside the cockpit. We may actually need to just very simply reduce the complexity of the wheels if we want to combat this issue.